How's it going, everybody? My name's Warner Fields with Fields of Profit. I'm here once again with my good friend Ronnie. If you haven't already seen our interview we did talking about how he's kind of gotten set up in his business, go check that video out after you watch this one, of course. But we're just gonna be having a conversation here at the event. He's in town for the sellers meetup we had yesterday. But at the event, we did something called Hot Seat. We had some people sit up in front of the room, kind of diagnose, next steps for their business. So we're gonna just be having that conversation here because a lot of you guys at home are probably similar to where Ronnie's at. Fill them in where you're at on your business for those who haven't seen the previous one.
As of right now, I'm probably, a monthly is between like 1,000 to 3,000 a month. Still trying to figure everything out. Went from RA to OA. Switched to OA about a month ago, so trying to get used to all this and that.
Yeah, that's an awesome start. Like, I don't think anyone at home would argue with a couple $1,000 in sales, right? Like, I know a lot of us, including yourself, we're trying to build something a little more than that. But if that's you at home, you're like, hey, I just want to sell $3,000. I want to sell $5,000. Like, don't get stuck in that. Like, that's something I see a lot of, a lot of sellers are like, oh, I'm good. I want to make $1,000 a month and that's it. Like, do that. Like, you don't have to build an empire. Yeah. But yeah, so what's something you think you've done really well in your business that kind of the new guys at home might kind of take action on as well?
Doing so, I've just kind of created more time for myself to focus on the business, building more time, like working 6 days a week, was able to get off on Mondays now. Using that time to kind of focus on my Amazon business, and hopefully by either the beginning of next month to like mid next month, I can start taking off Tuesdays too. To do an extra day. Building that freedom and time for myself was probably the best, and hopping on this was the best decision that has happened.
Yeah. So for those guys who are, they're sitting at home, they're like, oh, I've got a full-time job. Like, you're working 6 days a week. Like, that's more than a full-time job. So how are you able to make time for that? Like, what should they do at home? Are you just putting other things aside? Like, is it just like, I want to win kind of mentality?
It's really what it is. It's just, I want to build that, that financial freedom for myself and create time to spend time with friends and family. Doing so, it's just like the mindset of like, you got to do this. Put in the hard work now so you can enjoy later. Yeah. With doing so, I work 9 to 5, 9 to 7, and then I get off and I'll go straight to working on Amazon. So like, so sometimes I won't even stop sourcing for products or doing RA and OA until till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was doing that almost like every day until I started hitting like close to shy a little $3,000 a month, and I was just like, oh wow, this is great. So seeing the hard work getting put in, it's a great feeling.
Yeah, no, I did the same thing. Like some of you guys at home, I started this business in college, freshman year. My senior year of college, I made over $100,000 in profit. Like it just takes putting aside like you're hustling. Like it takes a lot of work. Like especially at the start, you're gonna have to go the extra mile, put in that extra effort. It's not passive. Like if you think Amazon FBA is passive, then click out. It's not for you. But yeah, so moving forward in your business, you've got a little bit of sales. You've done a couple $1,000s in sales. What is kind of the biggest thing holding you back right now?
I feel like a lot of it had to do with capital. Yeah, I'm still haven't gotten to the point where like I got credit card for just specifically to buy like products and such like that. Yeah. So with a little of the capital that I've created with my other job and saved it to the side, I've used that to flip. I think I started with like $1,000. Awesome. Started with that, spent $1,000 on products and watched that just flip. And having that in a different investment account. So all the payments and everything goes to a separate account rather than my checking account. Yeah. And all the money I'll just reflip. I haven't touched a single penny of that for anything else. Like just to go out and party or none of that. Not even drinking. Not even going to the gas station or anything. Everything, every penny that I've got that's gone to the account, I just reflipped. Reflipped. Especially with like being the payouts and everything. Like even if it was a couple $100, I'll send that in, just reflip that.
Yeah, I mean that's what it takes, especially at the beginning. I mean, I got pretty aggressive with the reinvesting in my business. I didn't start pulling paychecks until the beginning of this year, and it's led to significant growth. Now the paychecks I'm able to pull a little bigger. It's up to your own circumstances. Like if you want to quit your job, obviously you're gonna have some money to live off of, but the power of reinvesting is absolutely crazy. You have to think about the fact that an average pretty decent product is like a 35% ROI. Like you're not going to find that in stocks or pretty much anywhere else. We can turn our money over like 6 to 8 times a year. You think about the compounding on that, it gets crazy. So then you think about the common pattern of thought where it's like, oh, if I buy this meal I'm spending an hour, but if then you break it down, it's like, oh, if I buy this meal I'm spending like $50-60 by the end of the year. Then it becomes a whole different problem, especially when you've got like those combined finances and stuff like that. In terms of your sourcing methods you're using right now, is there any kind of improvement you'd want to see? Like what are you sticking to the most right now?
As of right now, I'm doing a lot of Keepa and SellerAmp.
Yeah.
I think it was like a month ago. I didn't even know Keepa actually had a subscriiption one. Yeah, I was like, and I seen your video and you're like, yeah, it was like 15 a month, 20.
It's like 20.
Yeah, something like that. And I was just like, there's a subscription for Keepa. I bought that. Next, you're seeing like extra, and I was just like, oh, there was extra on there. So yeah. But I do a lot of SellerAmp. I have that on my phone. So instead of using like your regular, especially for RA, going out your
SellerAmp for RA is awesome.
Oh man. So like seeing everything there and having to do to keep all your charts and all that stuff, like it's beautiful having all that just sitting right there on your screen or on your phone. That's helping me out a lot. Did a little bit of TA, but couldn't grasp that well.
Yeah.
It was a lot of sitting there and waiting and having to source like, it was like 7 different websites you can kind of like search, I believe.
With TA?
Yeah, with
TA. It's a couple hundred.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna have varying success on all the different websites. But,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that, it was just like, all right, I couldn't really grasp. Not saying that I'm not gonna like completely stop using it. I would like to go back and kind of try it again later on when I'm able to scale a little bit more.
Yeah. But, we talked about that in that last video too as well. Right. Yeah, so it sounds more like just getting capital is kind of your bottleneck right now.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
In terms of getting capital, stuff like that, I guess all the money you've got right now, it's just getting reinvested. Like, do you have any business credit cards? You taking advantage of anything like that yet?
I got like 3 credit cards, but like 2 of them are mostly just, your basic gas and food spending. But for like specifically for just like to reinvest in Amazon, no. I'm still kind of debating on the Amex card. Because I did apply for the Amazon Visa card like towards the beginning of this year. So and then they said to wait about like, it wasn't like 9 months before you can apply for another one because I didn't want to drop my credit down.
You got the applying for X amount of credit cards.
So but my next one definitely, and seeing the videos that you talk about and the unlimited credit of that. So I was like, oh, that would help out so much, and so that's a plan. I think that's my next step. I'm gonna do.
And like unfortunately, like capital acquisition isn't something that's like super easy to shortcut. Like with sourcing, it's like, oh, just flip this switch, spend a bunch of time, like easy. Everyone who runs a business or just everyone who has a heartbeat wants more money. So that's a lot harder problem to solve than finding more products on Walmart.com, right?
For instance, like I've got a little bit of listing. Like I got some leads lists and stuff like that. Sometimes I think I paid like a little over $20, $30 or something like that. And I got a leads list of like, was it like 50 items? And just skimming through all that, and there wasn't really much sellers. And I bought some of the products that were on there, and there was still not a lot of sellers on that. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So like all these items are, like I'm able to buy and make good, like above 35% return of investment. I mean, I have some that's making like 75% to almost close to like 200% of ROI. So with that, but having the capital or not having the capital to be able to buy all these products that's on that list, I'm just like, oh, I need more capital. So that's about it. So I have like a couple of leads lists and like some OA listings that are just sitting in a file right now. So I'm waiting. So when I get more capital, I'm just going back on the list.
That's awesome. I like that. I'm sure there's a bunch of you guys at home who are also like, oh, I found a bunch of products, no capital. Do that. Like make a list of them. And then as you get more capital, I don't know if you've done this yet, but especially as a new seller, like you have the time to like, do the tedious checkouts where I'm buying 5 of this and 6 of this and 7 of this. Whereas like, some of us at scale, it's like, I don't really want to check out with 5 units. I want to check out with 100 units. For you, like go into that list. Like, once you get that $500 payout, go ahead and sort that list by ROI order. And even if it's annoying, you got to prep 3 units of this, 4 units of this. Like, you've got the time to invest. So like maximize that capital you do have available to you. And as you continue to grow, like you're going to get more and more comfortable with the decisions you're making. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm just going to over leverage credit cards and get debt like right at the start. I wouldn't recommend that. When we're talking about getting these credit cards, definitely take advantage of like the cash back and especially if you go like the gold or the platinum eventually with no limits, like that kind of stuff. And especially for you guys at home, don't over leverage over the cash you have in your your bank account in terms of the money you have for inventory. I've only done it on very rare occasions after I had like 2 years of experience. I knew like exactly what was going to go on. So I would not recommend it for you guys who, you're just getting started out like 4 months in. It's like, why don't I just like take $5,000 of debt on a credit card line? Don't do that. Be smart with your money. Like there's also a lot cheaper ways to get debt if you want to go get debt down the line. But yeah, you're not going to be able to like to shortcut it. I think you've got a great attitude about it. For those of you guys at home, like you're not going to become a millionaire overnight, especially if you got like $1,000, $2,000 to start with. So just prioritize spending in ROI order, like find out what's working for you. Probably stick to like 1, maybe 2 different ways to source products. Cause I know you tried TA, kind of gave up on it, which is fine, especially at the start. Like you don't need a million different ways to find products, a million different ways to do X when you're just trying to make the next sale and spend $1,000, right? Yeah. So is there any other kind of like pain points, any specific questions I can help you out with?
I'm thinking about investing into a repricer, but I just don't know which one exactly. I don't know which one you would recommend, because I hear both, like repricer would be cool and stuff like that. And I just didn't know exactly.
Yeah, in terms of repricers, especially since you're going like the OA RA route, I'd probably say be cool. Just get like the $25 a month plan. That's going to be plenty for what you need. I mean, for those of you who are looking at reprices at home, and as you get a repricer, there's a video on my channel. I walk you through all the rules that I like to use for that repricing tool. And especially you have to think about, like, you know, if you spend right now, what do you spend, like an hour a week repricing, something like that, 30 minutes a week. Yeah,
pretty much. I'll go back on my phone, I'll look at it, and then I'll just up and down. Sometimes I'll drop the price just so I can hit buy box and then raise the price after that. And
so especially since, you know, you factor in that time cost, like, you know, you're bootstrapping, you don't have a lot of capital right now, but as you grow that capital, you have to think about, like, oh, I spent an hour a week, I spent 4 hours, I could have saved 4 hours by spending 25 bucks. These are the kind of decisions we make as business owners. Something to kind of shift your mindset, right? Like, you got to invest in those tools. Like in your personal life, you can be cheap as you want, like skimp on the Netflix subscription, but don't skimp on the Be Cool subscription, right?
I know. I invest, like that's cut down so much of my time, especially getting SellerAmp and such. I mean, like, I just started off with Keepa, and it was just like, you know, just seeing the numbers drop, but then not being able to see how much sales are a month and stuff like that, and it calculating all the shipping and everything for you. And I was just like, wow, this is all here. I'm like, this is super easy. So I mean, in the beginning, it took me a couple minutes to kind of just sit there and just read everything, but once I got used to it, just see the numbers, they don't work out, go to another item, go to another item. See a good number, all right, I'll add that. So it's just, that's what it was. And also helping out, like clicking on it was like Google searches and stuff like that. Dude, it was just a blessing.
That's awesome. So kind of wrapping up for you guys at home, like learning from what Ronnie's up to, like put in the work, like don't be afraid to invest in your business, like get out there and network, like he's doing now. He traveled like 6 hours to be out here for like a one-day event. So I respect that. Like go the extra mile for your business, grow your business, you'll absolutely crush it. Do you have any Instagram, anything like that you want to plug for the people at home?
Instagram, it's Ronnie Doe.
Cool. Yeah, we'll put that right down there for you guys. He gives the freshest cuts in Fort Smith.
Check it out. Whoever in Fort Smith, come see me. Send me a message. I got y'all. I promise I got y'all.
For sure. Yeah, great to have you on the channel. For those of you guys at home, if you got some value out of our conversation, hit that subscribe button. That helps me out. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, always happy to answer those down below as well. But I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.